This is touching. I've been interviewed, I've had all the books, but this is touching to me, to be embraced. I didn't dress like this for theatrical reasons. I work in the morning, you're in my studio for an hour or two, and when you're gone, I'm going back to work. So I wanted you to know that I'm not a designer, I don't have a workshop, I don't have 1,000 people. Everything's made right here with my hands. And to be even a little more clear than that, it all started because I couldn't afford a wedding ring. My mother took me on the great trip to Europe, 11 countries in 13 days when I was 13 years old. And at the Victoria and Albert, I saw this little bowl. Had a bunch of little gold balls all over it, and it was stunning. And I knew I had to make something like that in my lifetime. We've been in this studio for 40 years. I try to grapple with all of it. So there's only so much of the existential drama I can bear at one time. What's Daniel Brush's brand? I don't know. I never thought about it. I get up and worry about what's there to say. Do I have anything to say? Do I know enough? Can I engrave as well as the armorers in Napoleon's court? I read and I study and I worry. Is it a struggle? Yeah, sure. I collect machinery. You see it all over the place. But virtually every single thing here is done the way, you know, a jeweler did it 100 years ago. There's a saw, engraving burins, files. So I make all the tools, hardening them harder than the steel. Looks like a wood carving chisel. Hammer, breaks, resharpen, hammer, breaks, resharpen. Every cut. Yeah. How else are you going to do it? If you can tell me another way to do it, I'd try to do it. But like all this is all carved by hand, inlaid with pure gold. I wanted to do a poetry book, a visual poetry book. So all 117 collars were made solely for the purpose of having it photographed by expired film for the book. I have all of them. It was a piece, all the pieces were made to make this book. And the book was done, the photographer is a young fellow that helps me move things because I can't do it anymore. And that's his girlfriend. And it was, I don't know what, 3 years to do this. And Nicholas was the first person that saw this. I didn't want to make a catalog for jewelry. I didn't want to have it too, I want it to be a kind of vague dream. I've been doing the same drawing or painting for 50 years. They just take on a different look or shape or color. They're all basically based on my study of the No theater from Japan. From a distance, and they've been in exhibits, from a distance, people say, fine, he dips the brush, it's not that. I use my grandfather's ruling pen, which is the old-fashioned, there's a little screw and there's 2 leaves, predating a rapidograph, and it is take a breath, there's 1 drop, approach, and make 1 line, exhale, repeatedly until the momentum stops. And what they are in some way are like that they're the same. This is carved in steel. That's written on a piece of paper, but they're my thoughts, they're poems. In some way, they're recording my heartbeat because the fluctuations on the ink, it's the deposit of the quantity of ink to the less quantity of ink, depending on my own state. My days are quiet. You know, I sweep the floor for 3 or 4 hours every single morning. I kind of ease into it. 11 o'clock, I'm working. Olivia is working and helping and also keeping that door closed and answering the phones. And that's what it's like here. I'm looking and studying all the time. No mystery.